And welcome back. Now, this is the Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 29. These are the finals. Best of 5 conquest format. Both players will need to win the match with all 3 of their classes.
Victory or death! Let the hunt begin.
And as we see, Kufdon saw that his hunter made a good position or a good impression in his previous matchup when he started with it. So there's no reason to change that tactic. You're gonna need the hunter win at some point anyway. And the hunter versus the control warrior. It's all about the early game aggression, and if you're able to push the damage to the warrior fast enough that he's unable to respond to all the threats you put out. Double freezing trap in your starting hand is pretty horrible and something you never want to see, because that's the polar opposite of getting a fast start. And Skyythe gets the Armor Smith down as well. You can use the Taskmaster to remove the Web Spinner, but I think the Armor Smith is actually better right now. She'll be able to start nipping out these small minions and start generating armor for yourself. Oh wow, the top deck Animal Companion, that's very, very big. Either the Hoffer or Misha are good against Armor Smith. You deny the armor generation and deal the exact 4 damage, which is what you're looking for. Now, Skyythe's hand is really heavy. Isera, Dr. Boom, Alexstrasza, and even the Sludge Belcher somewhat. You could argue that using the Execute on the 4-1 would not have been wrong. It might have worked just fine. Okay, King of Beasts. You can't play that yet. You can play the Freezing Trap if you clear out. Yep, if you clear the 2-1 with your existing Spider. Because you do not want to give the Taskmaster back into Side's hand. It is one of those cards which has such a useful battle cry against hunters. You don't want to be resetting it. Coin out Belcher, pretty much the only option. You could argue for the Shield Block. Shield Block buys you more time. But if you go for the Belcher, then you might be able to activate the trap earlier. And you want synergy from your Shield Block with your Shield Slams as well. Are we disconnected? I don't think we are. Skyythe is just taking quite a while to make up his mind. If we don't start seeing the rope fairly soon, I might truly well be disconnected.
What now?
I'm just asking one of the players that, is it really Skyythe's turn?
What now?
I think it has to have been more than 90 seconds. And the rope should have appeared. Oh, yep. It says that it is his turn.
What now?
And we are disconnected when we are in spectator mode. But that's no brainer. We'll just rip right back into it. We were on Kufdon's side of the board. Let's see how many turns we have missed. We have missed 3 turns. That is a shame. The freezing trap is still up. Oh wow, Baron Geddon is huge. It's this definitely the biggest possible draw you can get against a board like this. The freezing trap is gonna give the silence back to Skyythe's hand, and he's just gonna pop the Geddon and completely wipe the board. That's painful to see. I guess you could go for the King of Beasts kill command. Yep. That's exactly 8 damage and you get rid of the 7-5. The Beast's King is just so small and low impact. There's really no other options though. The effect from the Geddon is ridiculously good against your minions, so you're forced to do that. And now we're at the stage where the Control Warrior will be able to start just lobbing out all those high impact minions. Boom, into Alex, into Isera, into even Emperor Without a Son by himself. That it will be very difficult for the mid-range hunter to climb out of it. And Kill Command is now a 0 mana Warlock spell. All the beauties of spectator mode. Kufdon is just trying to... Oh well. Or was trying to outrun his opponent. But it would seem that he trusts the freezing trap enough to pop the boom back into the warrior's hand. Downsides of course here being that you get more boom bots, and more boom bots are bad for your health and bad for your business. They tend to deal out much too much damage. There's an argument for using Alexstrasza as well, but you want to check for the trap first. And just replaying Dr. Boom, there's nothing wrong with that. He is the lowest 7 mana creature, or 7 attack value creature, so even if the big game hunter shows up, you're still in a pretty good spot. This kill command should be used to go for face damage. I don't think it matters whether or not Dr. Boom stays alive. And that kill command was just vanished into air, so we're gonna reset. Okay. Please work. I would really like to cast these finals. We'll reset the client real fast and be right back with you guys. The joys of sometimes technology not working.
Find a seat if you can.
And we're back. It seems that those 2 packs that we were awarded earlier on was in fact because of the downtime in Europe. So all of us who play on the European server actually got 2 packs for that.
Your soul shall be mine.
And from the situation, I can pretty much deduct that Kufdon lost the previous match. And it is now 1-0 in favor of Skyythe. Since we see the Hunter make a comeback. To be fair, Control Warrior against a mid-range Hunter is a tough matchup for the Hunter. I shouldn't be rooting for any favorites here, but of course, since we are the Finnish Hearthstone community, I am just ever so slightly in favor of the Finnish player in this situation. Now, Skyythe can play the silence from the owl, but it's not that big of an impact right now. So I think we're gonna see the life tap. Yep. And just for face, even the Savannah Highman is much better for the silence targets. Proper usage of the attack sequencing from the Knife Juggler before playing the Mad Scientist, so the juggle won't be wasted. And on turn 3, we'll more than likely see the Eagle Horn Bow into Scientist Creeper on 4. He's actually going for the second Scientist. Well, if the Squire hits the egg, then you're kind of, well, I don't want to say up what creek, but not in a good position. And it does. The Nerubian will start getting value by eating out those minions. And I think it's gonna start with the Knife Juggler itself. Of course, with that, you will still get the Argent Squire Divine Shield value, but... In fact, seeing the Argent Squire in this mid-range hunter is interesting to say the least. Since it is one of those cards you don't usually see being added. The 1 damage Divine Shield, it's not usually big enough impact to warrant an inclusion.
Put this apple on your head.
Okay, if the owl is going down, it's gonna go down into... Oh! It's gonna go down into the Divine Shield to try and deny the value. No Void Caller means there's probably gonna be targets for Defender of Argus later on. But more than likely the Bane of Doom will go down to remove something like the Knife Juggler from the board. Now one juggle needs to hit the minions, and it does. 1-1, destroying the 4-1. And at this stage it looks good for the Hunter, but if the Bane of Doom summons something like a Jiraxis... Nope, that's a low impact card. The Void Walker will not be enough to stop the aggression from the Hunter player. He even gets the Eagle Horn Bow up before the Freezing Trap is procced. I would prefer seeing the Eagle Horn Bow hero power here over attacking into the minions. Yes, the Polished Shredder gives you more board presence, but it's less efficient on the curve. And now if somehow this Freezing Trap would be procced, you would not get the charge to the Eagle Horn Bow. From a minion like Void... No, not Void Caller. From Doomguard. That would be pretty much the best possible result. Of course, if you had played the Eagle Horn Bow hero power, then you would be stuck with holding the Polished Shredder for quite a while in your hand. Abusive would not really do anything significant over the Savannah. If you play the Savannah, yes, he can suicide the Void Caller, but he can trade it into the Valid Shredder anyway. As the Hunter player, I really would like to see more aggression from him. Okay, so he's making sure that the Void Caller is not going to be able to make a value trade right now. Because of the Freezing Trap being up. Bane of Doom, what do we see? Right, the 3-3 Void Terror, not too bad. The Mana Addict is quite bad. It won't be able to be procced unless you're drawing things like the Kill Command. Right, Houndmaster, very good. Very nice. Taunt up the Savannah Highmane, go for absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage to the face, use the Abusive Sergeant or the Eagle Horn Bow. If you use the Sergeant on the Spectral Spider, you'll get the hero power. If you use the bow, you'll get the charges from both the traps. And you'll remove the 3-3. The Void Caller will... What? Why would you not use the Houndmaster first? I think that's a misplay. Because... yes, you get the same results, but you get the Abusive Sergeant on the board instead. Are you afraid of a big game hunter? Is that why you're not playing the Houndmaster? Because this gave a lower impact card onto the field. Yep, and Skyythe has accepted his fate. Kufdon takes the series into 1-1 against Skyythe. With the wins going to the Hunter, and in Skyythe's case, to the Warrior. I am betting we're gonna see the Green Patron Warrior from Kufdon before the Feast. Yep, this is the exact same lineup of classes he brought before.
Soul shall be mine. Victory or death.
And we are gonna see the Green Patron being tossed out along with the Battle Rage. Only the Frothing Berserker should be kept. These options from Skyythe as well. The 6 mana Sylvana's gonna get taken out. The Implosion gonna get taken out. Abusive maybe held. Nope, taken out. Instead, getting a double Knife Juggler, which they can in fact coin out. Coin Juggler into another Juggler into an Imp Gang boss is a very, very strong start. Against a Warrior, even if it is a Green Patron Warrior, they don't usually have enough early game aggression to handle both Jugglers unless they get the Fiery War Axe going, and that's not the case in this case. And I guess Kufdon also sees that the aggression from the Warlock player is such that if the Juggle hits, if it destroys the Loot Hoarder, then it's not looking good. Okay, second Juggler. Where does the Juggle hit? To the face. Alright, that means he will get value trade from the Loot Hoarder, and he actually has his chance. He still has a chance to make it. Frothing is pretty much perfect on the curve, and very useful for this board as well. And there's the Fiery War Axe. A situation that looked very grim, being overturned very quickly by those nice top decks. Turn 3 Frothing Berserker into a Fiery War Axe for turn 4 plays. You can combine that with the Crusader or with the Cruel Taskmaster or what have you. Many, many options open to Kufdon right now. Skyythe on the other hand decides to not play the Imp Gang boss. I believe that's mainly because of the fact that it would have been able to be completely removed with the Frothing Berserker with just a 1-1 spawn. It's a bit passive to play the Nerubian Egg, but there weren't that many options, and now he has a target for the Power Overwhelming as well, so completely understandable. The 4-4, is there a way to handle it? I think the Acolyte of Pain Cruel Taskmaster. Oh, you're gonna go for the Cruel Taskmaster removal into the Nerubian. That also works. Do you remove the 2-4 with the Frothing? I think you go for face, because the 9 damage is just so ridiculously high. You're forcing the Warlock player to try and handle your Frothing. Now with the Bane of Doom, it will be possible, but now you'll get more card draw from the Acolyte of Pain in the form of those 1-1s. So this needs to be a Taunter or a big minion. It's another Imp Gang boss, and it's a golden Imp Gang boss as well. In case you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty swag. Let's see what the card draw gives you. Ah, next turn, Dr. Boom will be making an appearance. Battle Rage for 2 into a No Machine Manor. No flashy gadgets there. Very basic, whatever gets the job done. Now the Warrior is down to 15, so the damage potential doesn't have to be that large from the Warlock. He's already building up a fairly significant board. And there is no Warsong Commander right now for Kufdon. Dr. Boom would at first would seem like the surefire way to go.
What now?
Like the boom is, you always take it. Okay, you go for the card draw first. The Unstable Ghoul would also be an interesting pick. Now we know that this Void Caller would get nothing if you were to use the Dead Spite to get rid of it. But does Kufdon take the risk of these two cards being something high value when it comes to demons? Nope. He says, it's turn 7, I want to play boom. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 9, 6 damage off lethal right now. If they play a Dr. Boom of their own, all they need to hope for is that Kufdon doesn't have the required amount of damage in their hand for it to be lethal. Now we see the Cruel Taskmaster and the Dead Spite, so that's 6 damage from the hand straight up, even if a single minion remains on the board. So 7, 8 from the existing minions, 8 plus 4 plus 2 is 14, and that's lethal. I'm sure he won't miss it. I'm sure he won't miss it. Once he gets this win down, he'll only need to get 1 win with his priest, and we have seen it being played in 2 matches thus far. It seemed very interesting. I don't believe it even has the Alkanized Soul Priest plus Circle of Healing combo in it. It uses Light Bombs, it uses Death Lords, and the Valence Chosen meta, which in the current aggro-heavy meta might actually be a better, more reliable option. You don't really need the combo from the Circle for that Death Lord to be an effective stopper against those aggressive... Oh man, does he... He misses lethal. Is he missing lethal right now? Death is 4, Cruel is 2, 4, that's 9, 10... Go! Oh man, this is so frustrating to look at. Kufdon might well lose this match, might well have just thrown it completely. He had the mana for it as well. Death Spite is 6, Cruel Task is 2, that's 8. No, that's the 4 plus 2 is 6, so he still would have had room for a BM hero power if he wanted. Now, life tap from Skyythe, and he gets the 3 damage to your face Flame Imp, which does nothing right now. If it's a 4 damage to the Thouder Sun, then Thouder Sun might die, but it's not. Okay, now 5 means he needs to get 7 from his hand. And with Taskmaster Dead Spite, that's actually 1 off lethal right now. And if he removes the 3-1, then it will get value from the Flame Imp as well. And then Power Overwhelming means the game's over. Ooh boy, it's such a clutch call. If he gets... if Kufdon gets the Warsong Commander, there's 2 in those 12 cards, so it's a 1 in 6 chance it will be close to lethal. And with those cards on the board, it actually will be lethal with those Green Patrons, if they get it. And they don't get it, that's it. 1, 3, 6, and 10 with the Power Overwhelming. Taskmaster removes the Abusive Sergeant, but if there's another top-decked Abusive Sergeant, that's it. Can use the Inner Rage as well. Oh, he's proccing that... Yeah, he's proccing the Whirlwind. With the second weapon.
Job done.
And he wants 2 more Green Patrons, so that's the reason he's using the Inner Rage. And the board will be cleared with the Cruel Taskmaster proc into the Flame Imp completely. So despite having missed lethal once earlier in this matchup, he's not gonna give the Warlock the satisfaction of taking the game from him. He would have needed Doomguard plus Power Overwhelming, but as we know, that's impossible with just 2 cards. 2, not enough. It is now 2-1. As said and stated previously, the Grim Patron Warrior is pretty much designed to beat the Zulok, so that matchup was not in favor of Skyythe to begin with. Now all Kufdon has to do is take a priest match against the Zulok. That's very doable with the Death Lords and with the Valence Chosen picks. Against the Druid it's going to be a bit more difficult. Let's wait and see what Skyythe picks. Of course, we will wish that these games go to the number 5.
Anduin versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine!
The light shall bring victory.
Alright, so Kufdon is already making excuses. Well, let's wait and see if it actually matters. Starting our turn off with a Zombie Chow is very nice. Best possible turn 1 drop against the Zulok when you're playing a not so fast deck. Now, turn 2 is passive from both sides of the board. The Nerubian Egg by itself won't be able to provide much pressure. The Shrinkmeister probably gonna actually get held behind. Held behind with the Cabal combo. The only reason why you would want to play the Shrinkmeister is if you want to play the Defender of Argus come next turn. With that, you could have had 2 targets to buff up. Valence Chosen onto your 2/3 zombie means you get to go on a rampage. Shadow Madness, your opposing 3/4. Run it into the 4/4. Deny the demon drop, that's not bad. And if he wants to get value from the Nerubian, he'll have to run it into the 2/3. That's an okay trade. Nothing on turn 4 except for tap. Not even a Knife Juggler. I think he should have played the Implosion. Tried to get that, but that's still a 66% chance to get the Zombie Chow with the Implosion. Only a 1 in 3 to lose it into the rolls. It's too conservative even. Well, top decking the Gilblin Stalker into Valence Chosen is nice. It means there's a good juggle target for all those Knife Jugglers. And there's nothing to Implosion either. There we go, already soaked up 1 damage. Cabal will take care of this Imp Gang boss, and suddenly it looks very good for the Priest player. Zuloks traditionally don't have a lot of AoE. They don't really have ways to turn a lost board in their favor. Sylvanas kind of does that. Kind of. But there's still things to put in her way, like the Sludge Belcher and so on and so forth. Kufdon seems to be going a bit all in right now. Just investing all the minions onto the board. Hoping to push the Warlock down as much as possible before he's able to build a board for himself. Now, if the Doomguard gets played, then the Sludge Belcher will be taken out completely with the Sylvanas as well. But I don't think there's anything else. The Implosion will not be enough to kill it off. Power Overwhelming does nothing really. Defender doesn't really have good targets. Boom on 7, Boom on 7 attacks Sylvanas into the 3-5, that's pretty much it. Then you hope to get something useful on turn 8. But the amount of damage on the board right now is 8, 10, 14 with the 1-2 spawn. And there's no way for you to build up a wall unless you play the Haunted Creeper or the Iron Beak Owl as targets for your Defender of Argus. Silencing down the Gilblin Stalker instead of the Sludge Belcher. It denies 2 damage plus 1 spell power versus denying 2 damage only. Or actually 1 damage in the form of the slime. It would have opened up the chances for Sylvanas to attack into something other than the 3-5, so you would have been able to attack it with the Cabal as well. That would not have been so bad. Okay, and he's gonna lose the Gilblin. Dr. Boom, pretty straightforward. Go to the face with the 1-2 and then decide on whether or not you want value from the Cabal. I guess you're in such a position right now that as the Priest player, you're forcing the Warlock player to handle your board and not the vice versa. So you can safely ignore his small minions, although you know there's Defenders of Argus, you know there's stuff that buffs those minions. It's not such a big threat that you have to sacrifice the damage potential of 1/4 of the opposing player's hit point pool, which the 4 damage from the 16 hit points basically was. Even with the Defender of Argus play, that's 7, 8 extra hit points, and if used on Slime, that's the 7. 7 plus 12, we require 19 damage on the board from these guys. And with the Defender of Argus, is that enough? That's 3, 7, 14, 15, 16, plus 2, 18. So you're 1 off of lethal with the Defender of Argus play. Abusive Sergeant on the Defender of Argus existing. Yeah, with the power overwhelming, it means you get to get rid of the Dr. Boom as well. That makes sense. Holy Nova is way high impact. You attack into the Haunted Creeper first. Okay, or you misplay. That's fine as well. Because if you had attacked into the Haunted Creeper first with the Cabal Shadow Priest, then all these 1/1s would have also been... Oh, it's lethal. Not a misplay. Well, I don't think it actually would have mattered, because you could have buffed the 1/2 as well. Attacked with everything else. Or did it? This might have just... If my play was the wrong one, then my play was the wrong one. Sorry for calling you out, Kufdon, you know what you're doing. That's why I'm the caster and you're the player. Thank you for watching this Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 29 finals. My name is Markus Olodyn Koskivirta. We are powered by Fractia, a Finnish web services company. The winner of today's tournament is Kufdon from Finland, and we will see you guys next week. If you liked our stuff, consider following, etc, etc. You know how the system works. With that, I will hope you guys have a great night, and see you later. Until then, keep playing more Hearthstone.